Coming up today on Channel 97 News.
We look at an OHS student who hopes to build a fashionable career.
We visit with an OHS alum who is a big part of Oakville's baseball history.
And we find out how well OHS students know their TikTok dances.
All that and more on Channel 97 News.
And it all starts now.
Welcome to this edition of Eyes on the Tigers, Channel 97 News. I'm Kylie Gaither.
And I'm Matt Keller. You may have seen a coffee cart in the halls of OHS recently.
That's right, and these students are doing it for a good reason. Here's the story.
Oakville Grounds is a coffee cart that has coffee, tea, and different pastries and danishes that during A&P we go around and sell to the staff. I'm one of the co-sponsors of FCCLA, and I do all of the food sides. So I'm in charge of Tiger Takeout, and it just kind of blossomed as just another way to connect with the staff and get our name out. As of right now, teachers are filling out Google Forms, and it's just kind of giving a basic layout of what they want for their order, where their room is during A&P, and that way our kids can just bring their cart right up there. With our 6 girls going to state, we definitely needed a way to raise more money. So that was one of their ideas, so that we were not just doing one Tiger Takeout a month. This is something that we're trying to do at least once a week.
I love that everybody who's going to state just kind of came together, and you can rely on everybody. Being able to just show that our work has gotten us somewhere and be able to have the funds to go to state means a lot, because we're all very excited and we've worked so hard for where we've gotten.
Good luck to all of the FCCLA state qualifiers. With Macy Reek behind the camera, I'm Isabella Worthland for Channel 97 News.
Get her after that, she'll like too.
6 students are going to the FCCLA Star competitions over spring break.
And one of those students is headed back to state for the second year in a row.
Let's find out more about Megan Blanchard.
This is Megan Blanchard. She is a 2-time FCCLA state qualifier for the STAR events.
For this project, I had to design a collection, and then basically I had to create a sample piece, which is what this is, and I do sample costs, pricing, target demographics, buyers for it, and basically through that, especially that competition, I've learned so much about the industry and the process real designers go through.
Megan's STAR event design is inspired by Asian and American prom dress concepts.
As you can see, it's got the mandarin collar and the more tight fit top that's seen in Chinese culture, and then it has a more traditional American bottom, which is more you see in American prom.
But Megan was not always interested in fashion design.
I took a fax class in middle school, and that's what first piqued my interest in sewing and everything. And I was always not really interested in sewing until I took that class, and I found it really easy for me, and I really understood it and I liked it. So then I decided I'm going to take another sewing class freshman year, and through that and Miss Dade, I learned that I love doing it and I just want to pursue fashion design.
Megan is now taking my path to better understand the fashion industry.
I had to find a mentor that works in the industry, and that's where most of my fashion industry experience comes from, is working with my mentor. Her name is Audra Harold, and she works at the St. Louis Fashion Fund, and through that I've been able to compete in almost a project runway type competition, and also go and meet designers and go use their workroom.
Megan has some big dreams ahead of her.
I plan to go to FIT, which is a Fashion Institute of Technology in New York, which is kind of scary because it's New York and we live in St. Louis. But I'm really excited to go. I just want to learn everything I can. It's my passion, and I always knew I never wanted to go into an office job. I always wanted to do something with art, something with my hands. So I just fell in love with this, and I plan to do this for the rest of my life.
With Brooke Minda behind the camera, I'm Brittany Coney for Channel 97 News.
Wow, Megan is talented, and she does most of her work in the classroom.
Speaking of amazing work in the classroom, the Honors 2 English classes did an interesting project recently.
Let's check it out.
Research papers get repetitive, but Honors English 2 found a new way to show off information.
The idea behind the Technical Difficulties Project was to help students be more aware of global events and global ideas. Mrs. Brasher and I wanted to make sure that students had a better understanding of ideas like gene editing and global warming instead of these abstract concepts, that they could be something more concrete. We invited them to decide what kind of project they thought worked best. As far as the project was concerned, the only requirement was that it couldn't be an essay. They needed to make sure that it was something using multimedia. They needed to include an element of engagement to make sure that their audience was able to engage with the information.
The students had a very positive reaction.
My favorite part was probably all the freedom we got, like we could really do whatever we wanted.
I wasn't really constrained to any sort of thing. I just knew that I had to get my topic and my information out there, but then I was free to do whatever I really wanted to, and I really enjoyed that.
Why give students so much creative freedom?
When I put restrictions on assignments, then I'm limiting a student's creativity, and I never know what other kinds of things might come out of it. And so I think it's important, as often as possible, to be able to give just what exactly is it that I have to see, and then to give the student that creative freedom to go outside of that and to be able to work on it in their own way. Plus, we live in such a visual world that I think it's important to be able to bring in those aspects. And it's important for you as creators to be able to know how to create media and create content then that people would want to engage with.
With Nate Rouse behind the camera, I'm Eva Beidel for Channel 97 News.
Hey, you know there's another class working on a special project, and for a good cause.
Let's check in on Mr. Lutz's Painting 2 class.
Chairs were painted years ago for this class, like 20 years ago, and I kind of thought of the idea when Jason Biot sent an email out to the staff that he had some wooden chairs that were available, so I told him that I wanted them, and we were able to get the chairs, and then we had the students investigate some artists that were significant in history, more specifically painters, and then they kind of researched their paintings and selected features of their paintings to put on the chairs.
So we each got to pick a piece of art that we liked, a painting that we liked, and we just painted over it with that painting. And I really like this project so far. I can't wait to see how they all turn out.
My design is on the mountains and the tidal wave, and I chose that design because I really like nature and the mountains.
The idea was that after we're done painting them, we would auction the chairs off and then select a charity for the auction money to go towards. They kind of decided on the charity to be the Children's Heart Association.
The art department will announce their auction plans in the near future. With Lauren Helmachek behind the camera, I'm Hunter Brennan for Channel 97 News.
Congratulations to our boys and girls basketball teams. Both advanced to their district championship games last Friday night at Vianney.
Unfortunately, both teams fell short of district titles. The girls lost to Korizu. The boys lost to Melville. On a positive note, both teams finished the season with winning records.
Looking ahead to spring sports, baseball player TJ Meinershagen is coming off of an injury.
Hey Matt, did you know that his dad played baseball at Oakville?
I sure did. In our Touch of Gold segment, we visit with one of the best baseball players to ever play at Oakville.
I mean, Adam was obviously a tremendous talent. He had good physical size. He was strong. He was tall.
Just his knowledge of the game. Anytime I need a question to ask him, he's always got the right answer, anything.
Oakville baseball has had many great players over the years, but Adam Meinershagen went pro.
Toronto Blue Jays drafted me in the 11th round. I signed a letter of intent to go to Missouri State, which is now, or Southwest Missouri, which is now Missouri State, and then went right into baseball, and we had a pretty good baseball season. And I got lucky. I wasn't expecting to get drafted, but it happened.
I remember on 2 occasions I was fortunate enough to play shortstop behind him. He threw a perfect game here at Oakville against Lindbergh, threw a no-hitter another time, could throw extremely hard. Back then, I believe he was probably in the upper 80s, low 90s. There weren't a lot of guys at that time that were throwing that hard. I just remember him being ultra competitive. And again, obviously to be drafted out of high school, you have to have not just the physical tools, but you have to have the mental part of it too.
It was a little different. You go from playing as fun, not taking it as serious, to being a job. and then everybody competing, everybody, you know, it could be your last start because there's always a new crop of guys coming in. I was pretty fortunate to get in and have some success early on. I was 17 when I signed, went away, and spent 8 years playing minor league ball at all different levels, all across the country. Got to play in Australia, and I mean, you don't have to. There's so much joy and fun you get out of playing high school sports, and then each level you get to play after that is just a bonus.
With Matt Keller behind the camera, I'm Curtis Schmidt for Channel 97 News.
As you all know, spring break is just a few days away.
And not everybody's going to the beaches of Florida or Mexico.
If you plan to spend your spring break in St. Louis, Ryan and Kara have a few suggestions for you.
I'm Karen Inhouse. And I'm Ryan Bush. Here's a couple things to do around St. Louis if you aren't going out of town.
Hey Matt, do you know the Renegade? TikTok?
No, I don't know it.
Well, I know some OHS students that can help you out with that. Lauren Hunter and I have the story.
Hey Oakville, I'm Lauren Halmachek. Let's see which grade knows the most TikTok dances. If the screen turns black and white, they got the dance wrong. Now let's meet our contestants.
Did a full 180, crazy, thinking about the way I was. Did the heartbreak change me? I was wrong, and I learned how to get along. So now you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look up. Gotta take the time to cut them off, I need help. I know how to make the girl go crazy when you treat her like your number one baby.
Why don't you say so? Didn't even notice. No punches got to roll with. You got to keep me focused.
Congratulations, juniors. With Hunter Brennan and Kylie Gaither behind the camera, I'm Lauren Halmachek for Channel 97 News.
Well, that brings us to the end of our show.
One more thing before we go. Today is the last day to purchase a t-shirt from the Science NHS. Proceeds from t-shirt sales go to help animals affected by the wildfires in Australia. If you'd like to purchase a t-shirt, see Miss Pierce or Miss Allen.
Also, if you'd like to see more of our content and stay up to date on what's happening at Oakville, make sure to visit myohsonline.com. We post new stories all the time.
If you have an idea for a broadcast story, drop it off at our broadcast lab next to the library.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Matt Keller.
And I'm Kylie Gaither. Have a safe spring break. And remember, Oakville,
Keep your eyes on the Tigers.